In New York City, James O'Neill, the police commissioner, said this law will make New York City less safe than it is today. Our one McDonald's on the other side of the aisle. 9/11 happened in my hometown. Since then, there's been no major incidents of terrorism in New York City because New York City has been able to collect information, watching it from the undocumented community in our city. But it's been happening again.
So, yes, we're going to be talking about New York City and sanctuary cities. In particular, we're going to be talking about a certain sanctuary city, or a certain city, town, or it's called a city inside New York City. Islamberg in New York City. I'll give it a few moments for some people maybe to jump in here. Because what just happened, like last week or this week, one of the two, is truthfully America's worst nightmare being relived. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's just not in New York City. Let me read an article while you guys are staring at that little image there. And don't mind me, I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm dealing with an abscess tooth. Plus, you already know some of the other headaches I'm having to deal with this week. That clip I showed you, you can actually find the video on my channel. It was from the House Committee when they were voting on the sanctuary city bans. That was Representative Democrat, New York, Senator Joseph Crowley. That was in his own words, which will rant right after that, after he used 9/11 and said this don't happen. Well, I'm here to tell you that these very things have been going on in New York, and they're harboring by being a sanctuary city. I'd like to thank, this article was written by Prissy Holly. Trump sends feds in to raid New York's Islamberg after 2 decades, uncover America's worst nightmare. There's a mysterious hidden Muslim compound called Islamberg that's nestled deep within the woods of the Catskill Mountains in New York. The only way to access the 70-acre compound is through a primitive dirt roads, where more than 100 Muslims live in a seclusion away from prying eyes of curious Americans. For over 2 decades, infidels have been prohibited from entering, as anyone attempting to enter will be greeted by armed Muslims patrolling a guard shack at the compound's entry gate without access to the compound. There's been no way to confirm rumors about the location being used as a training ground for Muslim terrorists, but after an alarming incident involving one of the Islamberg's residents, police were finally able to obtain a warrant and raid the place. And what they discovered, that these Muslims have been quietly plotting for years, is nothing short of chilling. For over 2 decades, this cult-like group of Sharia law-following Muslims have lived quietly under the guidance of Pakistani Sheikh Saeed Mubarak al-Shah Gilani. For those that think they might recognize the name, yes. For those that don't remember, Daniel Pearl, who was kidnapped and beheaded, he was on his way to interview this guy in Pakistan when he was abducted and kidnapped. Living right there in New York. He's been living here in New York, being protected by a sanctuary city. Oh wait, we don't protect them. Yeah, whatever. A radical Muslim with ties to Jamaat al-Farqa, a terror organization responsible for a long list of terror activities around the world, including murders of rival religious figures in the United States. Locals in the area have oftentimes reported the sounds of gunfire and explosions emanating from the compound, but because the Muslims weren't necessarily breaking any laws, there was nothing that the law enforcement could do except keep a close eye on the place from a distance, and not to mention because it's been a sanctuary city. Senator, or the Democratic Joseph Crowley, had to say was every bit disrespectful to everybody that lost family members during 9/11. Pissed me off back when I watched that video, when I was showing that video, showing how the process of the house works. And when he stood up there and said that, I about lost it. We all remember where we were. We all remember those images. And this goes to show that New York as a sanctuary city is harboring such individuals. We can no longer afford to ignore the facts. This is America's worst nightmare. Recent arrest of the Islamberg resident Ramad Abdullah, who was recently caught trying to steal several cases of ammunition for a local mountain store in the area. Authorities finally had their chance to obtain a search warrant for the compound, and what they discovered was nothing short of chilling. Shortly after arresting Ramadan Abdullah for theft, the Muslims' answer about why he was stealing ammunition raised suspicion among police, who then decided to obtain a search warrant to investigate their suspicions further. During their raid, they discovered a massive stockpile of illegal weapons throughout the location, including 8 assault weapons, 4 loaded handguns, 1 loaded shotgun, 2 rifles, 64 high-capacity ammunition feeding devices, and body armor, including 1,000 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition capable of piercing body armor. But illegal cache of weapons seized at the compound was unfortunately just the beginning. After Abdullah's arrest, authorities began looking closer into his background, discovering that the Muslim is a longtime associate U.S.-based Islamist terrorist organization, Muslims of America, and was the very same Muslim who was arrested back in 1977 after police discovered enough material at his home to build 50 bombs. Abdullah also participated in the armed robbery of a candy store in Brooklyn back in the 70s that resulted in the death of a man, but after serving time and having his sentence drastically reduced, Abdullah had pretty much fallen off the radar of authorities, quietly living in Islamberg compound and training other terrorists on the use of weapons. His arrest has now validated the fears that New York residents held all along that the compound was, in fact, used to actively train terrorists. While Fox News is now coming forward with other possible rumors of there being a tank on the grounds as well, and that the location was once used to hide Osama bin Laden from authorities. You never know, because nobody could ever go on there. But, you know, hey. Since Abdullah's arrest, New York State Police Major Jim Barnes said he believes that the Muslim terrorist has traveled overseas to promote terrorism. All Abdullah's illegal weapons have since been seized, and Barnes questions exactly what Abdullah's motives were for hoarding such a massive amount of weapons in the first place. The question, what was he doing with all this and that? What were his intentions down the road, Barnes said. Thankfully, Abdullah was without bail at the Broome County Jail. On several occasions, political pundit Dennis Mitchell Lynch has reported on the alarming things going on in Islamberg, exposing how 22 other training camps within the United States are directly associated with MOA. Ramadan Abdullah. Below is a chilling documentary he did on Islamberg. Watch for yourself and ask just exactly what exactly is in that U-Haul truck. Guys, the link to that video is in the description, as long as the link to this article. See, it's absolutely ridiculous that the Muslims in this country are allowed to have their own freaking jihad compounds, where they're actively training their residents on the necessary tactics to carry out terror attacks, while Americans are protected under the Constitution against illegal searches and seizures. When known freaking terrorists are leading these compounds, it's time to stop letting these Muslims hide behind our laws and put them all in Gitmo, where they are belong. Guys, I've done a few videos about this. As you guys know, I've done a few videos about this. Talked about things, showed you, did a video about why I even had to change one of my few of my bug out routes. Because they're, you know, putting these mosques in locations in areas where it'd be more overlooked. Like I said, this is my last trip to North Carolina. I had missed my turn and ended up taking a little scenic route. Well, come to find out, the scenic route I went through cut through the Boone National Forest and cut me in through Johnson City, Tennessee, the back end of it. Well, what I missed was there was a mosque right there in the mountains that's out of the way. Can't even see it by driving by. But I drove by it. It was later pointed out to me as I was cut into North Carolina into Boone. You know, we can't afford to be letting our guard down. We can't afford to have these sanctuary cities, because this just proved the fact that they are also harboring these cities. I recommend you guys check out that video by Dennis Mitchell Lynch. It's here on YouTube. Everybody can go watch it. Look at the compound. They bought this property. It's the things you could do in there and be hidden and not know is ridiculous. But yet, you know, by removing, apparently we're giving you funding to do nothing. This is the way I look at it. Why should we be giving you fundings when this is going on in your very state? No. This is why a full ban on sanctuary cities needs to be in place. because you guys are actually protecting and harboring them. You're impeding federal agencies from being able to do their job, because it's just not about illegal immigration. A lot of these terrorists that, Joe Biggs has done plenty of reports on it, how easy it is to cross the border. Our borders are not secure. I've done a video on the court case that was in Charlotte, North Carolina, about a man who was using a perk because his wife worked for the airlines, a buddy pass. Well, as we did more research we did into it, we've come to find out, well, it's buddy pass. Then you can get enhanced security, which allows you to bypass TSA, the checkpoints and stuff. We have a very big problem, and these cases were sealed. It just became unsealed. There's a case here in Ohio. We're starting to hear more and more cases. Just like now, more truth coming out about the Australian woman who was shot by a cop. We're starting to find the links to that he's a Muslim, and the links to a couple previous cases that he was charged with. And now we have more concern. And it's, like I said, every organization has a bad apple. I respect the cops. I would not want to walk a day in their shoes. And almost all of them are there to serve and protect. There's just the bad apples that slide in, that infiltrate these organizations. Just like the other day, I come across a post. Since I mentioned Boone, I'll discuss this one. I told you about, I've done videos on this explaining how I lived down there for almost 2 years. I left last October. Well, I went back this year. And it amazed me at the increase in growth of the Muslim population. I mean, for 20, 30, maybe 100 by the time I left. It's well into the thousands. Well, this week, yesterday, or the day before, I think it was the day before, they end up having to shut down roads. Well, for those that don't understand Boone, Boone's a small, it's cost as a city, but I wouldn't call it a city. I'd call it a small town, maybe a big town. Big town's pushing it. It's because it's in the mountains, so everything's packed tightly together. Well, in truth, there's only 3 major arteries in and out. You can come in from the backside from Johnson City, or you can go up towards Verona, go further up the mountain, or down 421 to the Appalachian, to the Parkway. But if you do something inside that town, you could literally, if it was properly placed, close it off and make it impossible for anybody to get in or get out just by shutting down placing a few things in a key spot. Well, it didn't turn out to be nothing terrorist related. We'll state that right now. But they did have something suspicious, a suspicious pressure cooker, which turned out to be nothing, but it congested everything, locked things down. By closing off that one section, it closed off almost all the arteries, so it backed up traffic. Nobody could get in or get out, except for through a couple ways. And, the first thing that came to my mind was like, well, was that somebody testing? Because, I'm sorry, they've had an increase in the Muslim population there. I mean, we're talking, it's still kind of country. Still country folk. Yes, they got a NCAA college now, App State. I mean, it used to be a lower division. They went up, so it's grown some. But it's not that type of growth. It was like, dude, I wasn't even gone 6 months. And it went from, like I said, maybe 100 to over 1,000 everywhere you looked. And you can feel the change in the air. You could feel people uneasy. It wasn't what I was used to when I lived down there, when I was working in that very town. I could only imagine what it'd be like living in these sanctuary cities to actually harbor and protect these people. I mean, yes, I'm all for legal immigration. I'm all for the right way. But we've gotten to a point where we can't even vet these people. And we're starting to see more and more cases come to light where the previous administration, boy, did they lie to us. These documents cases are starting to become unsealed that's went to court. They've been tried. We've seen more stuff come up. We're going to demand an end to these sanctuary cities. For those of you that live in New York, I feel for you. This is right in your backyard. You know, it's not the first time. Dearborn, Michigan got raided about a month ago, which, you know, you only heard it on a local news channel. You know, our local news actually covered it out of Toledo, which was shocking because it happened in Dearborn, in Michigan. I live in Ohio. But, you know, it's only a 2-hour drive from my house. It's probably about an hour and a half drive from Toledo. Not closer, actually. Toledo. But you guys should check that site out because there's a map on there. They've done some investigating reports and stuff. Took a known terror organizations that have compounds or mosques here in the United States. There's a lot of states that are painted red with multiple known terrorist affiliations in these states. Check out that link. Look at that map. See if it's in your state. I know my state had one in Cleveland. I know it's probably got more than just one. And Michigan had, I mean, we're just not talking about MOA. We're talking about Hezbollah, Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood. Now, I don't understand why you guys aren't waking up to this. You know, it's hard to share these stories. I mean, today we got another 3-ring circus going on, for real. O.J. Simpson. Oh, they want to televise that all over, trending. Who cares? That shouldn't be trending news. This should have been trending news. You know, but I had to go I just stumbled across it, seen somebody post it, and went back, traced the link, and did some fact checking, checked out who the reporter was, and researched it a bit. And wow, why didn't I hear about this? Oh, that's right. The Democratic Party doesn't want this news out there, especially the sanctuary cities. I know, the Democrat Crowley definitely don't want this out here because, according to, in his own words, by taking our funding, we're not going to be able to do our job. And he wanted to use 9/11 as the example of why you can't take this funding. Well, here's my example. This happened in your own backyard. You were harboring a terrorist organization. You were harboring a compound. You've been wasting our taxpayers' dollars. Apparently, you've been trying to lie and deceive to people that you're actually doing your jobs. Guys, I might not be the most politically correct person in this world. I might not be the smartest, sharpest tool in the shed either, but I mean, wow, right in your backyard. And you are trying to defend sanctuary cities? This is why sanctuary cities need to be abolished. In fact, you guys should be charged with a crime for harboring them. Because truthfully, if any of us, ordinary folks, were letting them use our land, Oh yeah, we'd be going down with the ship, even though we might not even known about it. Getting tired of the double standard, like you guys are above the law. You keep making laws that are so it protects you, but on the other side of the coin, don't protect us. This should be a wake-up call to everyone. This should be getting shared with everyone. Letting people know, hey, this stuff really is happening in our backyards. In fact, this just happened in a sanctuary city. If more people would get news like this, see reports like this, there'd be a lot less opposition, a lot less people for sanctuary cities, for illegal immigration. So, like I said, Freedom Daily News, special shout outs to them, and a special shout out to Prissy Howie. Awesome find, awesome catch, and awesome reporting. And, thanks to C-SPAN for, allowing public information and public access, and allowing us to be able to share their footage when they do the House and Senate committees. And you can go right to the website, guys, and download it. Watch it for yourself. It was like 5 hours and 6 minutes in when he started talking. Because in the end, guys, we have to rely on each other. It's we the people for the people. We got to spread the news. We got to share when we come across articles like this. It's hard to get past Twitter with the things that are trending all the time, things popping up. Our stuff has a tendency to get lost in feeds. And I'm not a type of person that likes just spamming shit over and over. I like just once put it in there. I've gotten to where I won't do it twice now. But after that, it's what it's there for, guys. That's why we're there. For you guys to share these things. When you see these things, and you see that even though there's other stuff going on, realize some of this stuff that's trending is made the trend for a reason, to distract you. Sometimes we get carried away and keep it trending. And we miss the important stories, like this story that was shot out there. And, I'm lucky because I don't follow that many people. I'm very picky of people I follow. So if I'm following you on Twitter, because I like what you've been posting, I like the messages you're bringing, might not always agree on some things with you, but I enjoy the stuff that you're sharing. But I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention. It's not going to be a long video. Like I said, I'm sitting here burning up. This abscess is starting to get the better of me. But I am looking forward to my next video. I've been sitting here deciding what I'm going to do, because it will be my 50th video for this channel. And I've got a few surprises in the making if I still have internet and a decent enough connection to actually run off XSplit. Because when I go live for that 50th video, I want to be able to go live and be on all the platforms that I'm on. Periscope, YouTube. Well, that's about it. Oh, Ustream. Since I was able to connect every account. So when I do a live video using XSplit, I can be streaming live from all of them at the same time. So I look forward to being able to do that 50th video. I'm working on a couple topics with a couple people. And hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better by then. And hopefully I still have internet. I'm still waiting for that phone call. But like I said, just something for you guys to think about. Maybe it's a good reality check that, you know, just because I've been saying it, but these, you know, for me this was a little bit of redemption. They proved what I've been saying right by these sanctuary cities. It's just more than about illegal immigrants. You're harboring known terrorists as well. You're harboring these compounds right in your state. So, Senator Crowley, I don't know what you're talking about, 9/11. You're promoting another 9/11 by having this compound in Islamberg in your state, and you didn't want the ban on sanctuary cities, and you were talking about funding would hurt the police department and agencies. Well, guess what? Apparently, you shouldn't have had the money to begin with because you had this for the past 20 years in New York. That's how long this compound goes back. You've been harboring terrorists for a very long time in your state. And you want to call yourself a sanctuary city? This is what sanctuary cities harbor? No, there should be no sanctuary cities. And you shouldn't even have it. You should be paying the taxpayers back for the money that you've wasted. But I'm quite sure you're not going to let this information out in your state. Oh no, you probably didn't. You probably shut down most of the news organizations that wanted to report on it. You know, I'm hoping this will be a nice reality check for some of you out there. That, I mean, I've done reports on very similar things. I brought up reports on here in Ohio, North Carolina cases. And I haven't even touched the shooting one. I'm still gathering a little bit of information on it. And some of the stuff I found today, he shouldn't have been even wearing a uniform. In fact, he should have been in prison. You know, it's definitely time that we, in a sense, we're going to drain the swamp, guys. Start draining it come next election cycle for a lot of these senators and people in the House. If they're not about we the people, for the people, remove them. Put somebody in that is about our Constitution, about our liberties, about justice, about honoring this nation and keeping it safe. You know, it's our voices that's supposed to be heard. They're supposed to represent our voice, and they're not representing the American people's voice. So, like I said, share this video, guys. If you can't want, hit like, hit dislike. Just so you know, when you hit the dislike button, I view it this way, unlike other people. You're not going to trigger me by it. I'm actually going to look at it. It's like, oh, wow, I must have touched a nerve. Something I said must have rung home. You know what they say, the truth hurts. After hitting the dislike button, I must have did something right. You know, guys, like I said, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If not, hey, you know, you'll see my stuff floating around. It's always going to be here. It's posted on a WordPress site, on the Minds, Gab, Twitter. And somebody eventually stumble across it. That's the way I look at it. I'm not going to stop me from doing these videos, although losing my internet provider might stop me for a while. But I still got a little hope that I can get that resolved before the end of the month. So, I will catch you guys in the next video. I am going to go lay down and take some amoxicillin and try to kill this fever and get this infection down. You guys be safe. And have a lovely weekend too. It's coming up. Today is Thursday.